Hello friends, this is the Cryptonian taking a look at Bitcoin. Today is Monday, North American East Coast time. It's about 6 p.m. and in the evening, and we're taking a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's about 20,454 and is at a critical level. We do see the altcoins to the right. We have altcoins. Some altcoins are doing well, like AVAX is up 4.7%. BNB up 4.5%. So there may be select altcoins that are taking their turn, moving higher. Dogecoin up 5.5%. And so this is just a time where when Bitcoin is stable and just quiet, the altcoins do well. Sand is up 2.3%, but nothing spectacular. We've had an amazing run in the altcoins in the past few weeks, and so this is why we're just taking a breather. Now there are some significant events coming up. The FOMC meeting on Wednesday to Thursday is significant, and this is going to greatly affect the markets. Now if they come out with some negative news and that surprises the markets will probably sell off and push to the downside pretty hard. At the same time, if it's more dovish, then the markets probably will explode and push higher pretty quickly. And that's why I think a lot of people are getting into position before the meeting on Wednesday. And that's why a lot of people are not selling too much either. Taking a look at the market S&P down 0.75%, NASDAQ down 1%, and everything's pretty much down. So taking a look at the chart here for Bitcoin, there are some significant things to notice. One is the moving averages here, friends. Moving averages are now under the Bitcoin price, and Bitcoin does not appear to want to go much further to the downside. You can see this yellow line here. This yellow line is the 20,400 line that I was talking about. Very critical. We need to stay above that line. If we fall below that line, then the moving averages will provide support, and we still may lose that. We still have a couple days before the FOMC meeting when Powell will give an announcement on Wednesday. So we need to just be paying attention to the market. It's important to have stop losses in place to protect your positions. And that being said, we're seeing just a low volume here, not much activity. The majority are holding into Wednesday. So that being said, RSI is 48. It is a little bit under the midline. Not much to really say about that. It's not real weak. It's not real strong. It's just neutral. Okay, we are in a retraction or a correction. We see that currently we are under a sell signal on the 4-hour, and also stochastics is showing, RSI stochastics is showing that there is a downturn in the daily. Okay, so it's going to be important. If we start to lose this 20,400 line, then we could see a little bit more downside in altcoins. Altcoins will probably react a little bit more sensitive than Bitcoin, obviously. And taking a look at the BBWP, we see that BBWP is moving a little bit higher. This is the direction of expansion for Bitcoin for the moment, which is down. And so what we want to see is this BBWP come right back down and reset itself. If that occurs, then this means Bitcoin is either going sideways or getting stronger. Okay. That being said, stochastics on the shorter time periods, on the 1-hour and the 4-hour, are already reset. So we're just waiting for the next push to the upside. We are seeing that we do have positive 4-hour momentum. candle push to the upside. It's not much. It's not anything to be excited about. But one thing that will get you excited, or should get you excited, are these moving averages. The moving averages, Bitcoin is currently above the moving averages. Now let me show you what happened in the past when we had Bitcoin rejected by the moving averages. Let me go ahead and here we go, clean this up. Here you can see the 20, the 100, the 50, the 200. All of these on the 4-hour time frame provided support for Bitcoin when it was running up. However, Bitcoin could not hold these averages, and then Bitcoin fell below them. When Bitcoin fell below the averages, you can see what happened. There was a sell-off, and this is when we came down and we made that 18,600 low, and then we grinded. We tried to push up to regain them, failed, and then we just consolidated. We were just grinding the bottom here. Okay, and this could be, most likely is the bottom. Like I said, if Wednesday turns out to be anything but a negative surprise, then the markets are going to pump. Now, at the same time, when Bitcoin does hold the moving averages, you can see there's a nice push to the upside, a nice trend line to the upside, and that is what we're seeing here. Is now that Bitcoin is above the trend lines. This is significant because the only thing that we're waiting on is Wednesday. Positive news or neutral news Wednesday, Bitcoin most likely will go higher. The markets will most likely go higher, and your altcoins, your investments, will most likely go higher. So this is what I'm waiting for. I'm in position on some altcoins for some long-term investments. If this is the bottom and Bitcoin starts moving up from here, we do have a trend line. You can see this trend line here, this white diagonal. Okay, if Bitcoin continues to respect the moving averages and stay above that trend line, then I will be staying in my positions, hoping for long-term reversal, and then I'll be adding to my positions not so far in the future. So this is a very good development, and very, very significant development. Again, we're just waiting for BBWP to show the direction it wants to go after a reset. You can see that it was resetting itself a little bit here, but then it had expansion to the downside in this area here. So that being said, let's take a look at Ethereum. Let me move this over a little bit here. There we go. Let's take a look at, well, before we do that, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Altcoins have been doing very, very well. And the reason is we can see that Bitcoin dominance has been going down. All of this shows that the altcoins have been rallying and putting in massive gains. People have been selling Bitcoin and getting into altcoins. However, that being said, now we are back at support for Bitcoin, or I should say close to support for Bitcoin, which is going to be about the 50 or the 618 Fibonacci level right about here. Okay, you see this here. Now we could have a bounce with Bitcoin on the dominance scale. If this is the case, then Bitcoin is going to get extremely strong compared to altcoins and will outperform the altcoins. If Bitcoin continues to the downside to have a double bottom down here where the other bottom is here, then altcoins are going to rally with a lot of strength. So we need to be aware of that. So I'm paying attention to this as well. I'm primarily investing in the altcoins now, taking positions that I've been wanting to for some time. I just wanted to see some momentum come back into the market. Now, taking a look at Ethereum. Ethereum is 15,000, or excuse me, 1565, and you can see Ethereum is just basically doing what Bitcoin is doing. However, Bitcoin is somewhat above, it's above support or right at support, and has a gap below it. This Ethereum is actually on a support line as well. It's diagonal, not horizontal, but it's a bit a bit above the moving averages as well. But hey, this is bullish. This is bullish for Ethereum. Now, again, remember, we are seeing that the stochastics is negative on the daily. Daily stochastics is showing a curve to the downside. So, like I said, between now and Wednesday, we could have just a slow sell-off, slow drift down. If this occurs, some areas of interest are right here, right about 1490 right here. That's going to be significant support, and that's going to coincide with our diagonal trend line support, which is very significant. I would imagine people would be buying there. I will be buying there. Okay, so Ethereum's RSI is 50. 50 is pretty much neutral, and look at the short-term stochastics are already reset to the downside and just waiting for a reason to go higher. BBWP is expanding a little bit to the upside. BBWP on Ethereum has not been reset completely yet, so there could be a little bit more downside for Ethereum, but again, it depends on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues to the upside, everything else will continue to the upside as well, for the most part. You know, for the most part. I don't mean every coin, but the general market will respond positively. Taking a look at, let's see here, taking a look at Doge. I know a lot of people have questions about Doge. Doge is surprisingly holding the range. It is going sideways, is trying to put in some consolidation. Again, because of its explosive price action to the upside recently, I would not be purchasing Dogecoin. I would give it more time. I would definitely want to wait until Wednesday and see if there's positive news from the Fed. If there's positive news from the Fed, then Doge could possibly pump pretty hard. But again, the BBWP is not reset. You can see BBWP here is ready for a contraction phase, and so we'll just have to wait and see. I wouldn't be messing around with Doge at this point, but it is up 5.9%. If you do, it has to be very short term, on a very short term basis, such as 15-minute chart, something like that. Okay. Now Link is another one. See Link. You can see all of these coins are above their moving averages, and Link still looks like it has a little bit more downside to go on the short term, but it is resisting because Bitcoin is not collapsing or not selling off. So the BBWP is trying to reset, and it will just take a little bit more time. Once it comes down to the bottom and resets, that's when I really like to consider a position. Matic, see the same thing, above the moving averages, and just above the moving averages are just above this trend line on the 4-hour. I really like that. I do have a little bit of Matic because the short-term stochastics are at the bottom. Now again, this is not investment advice. I cannot give you investment advice. Um, I'm not a financial advisor, and the markets are very, very frothy right now, so I would be very careful. But we are above the moving averages and trend, so I do have a stop loss just under these areas, just in case the market does sell off before Wednesday or after announcement on Wednesday. Okay, so let's see. Solana. Solana is right at support, right above these trend lines. Now there's two trend lines that I've noticed for Solana. There's the primary, which is right here, which is above the 50, and there is right at about $30.63. There's another one here. So if Bitcoin does start to come down, you can expect Solana to come down and test these trend lines, these moving average lines, and I would, depending on what's going on in the market and what happens with Bitcoin, and on Wednesday, I'm considering a position with Solana somewhere down in this area, and then my stop loss is going to be just below that, probably down in this area. Okay, so there you have it, friends. I don't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to give you a little bit of update what's going on in the market. Oh, XRP, one more. You can see XRP here. Now I did take a position on XRP here, right here. If the market does pump, then I'll be hanging on to that long term if the bottom is in. And I took that position because of this trend line here. Let me show you this trend line. We have a trend line here, primary trend line up here, and then we have a, that was terrible, I'm sorry, let me do that again. Primary trend line here. We can see this. Now the primary trend line was broken, but we have a secondary trend line down here which coincides with the 50-day moving average, and we see a lot of sideways consolidation here for XRP. So I did take a small position, very small position here, and my stop loss will be down here. Okay, so that being said, the RSI is growing and getting stronger. It is above the moving average, so it is getting stronger, and we see an impulse to the upside, which is good because it's putting a little bit of real estate between my entry and the current price, giving me a little bit of room. Now, primarily going sideways, we do see that the midterm 4-hour stochastics is moving up a little bit here, but the short term is maxed out and the long term is rolling over. So it's really, you got to be really careful here. If you take a position, you're going to have to hold a tight stop loss. Well, you don't have to, but my suggestion is a tight stop loss in case it kind of rolls over and does this between now and Wednesday. Then you will be protecting your position. Now we are going down a little bit on the BBWP, and that's why I like this position so much. Is look at BBWP is very low, meaning that it's consolidating, right? And so it looks like BBWP is going to roll over a little bit, and so we could come back down a little bit, back to this trend line. But because there's so much consolidation here, and we have a point of support here and here, I decided to take a position, and hopefully that will work out between now and Wednesday. And Solana is at the point where it's really ready to just move higher. Okay, that is if Bitcoin, the market, and the Fed meeting is positive between now and Wednesday. So there you have it, friends. That is the market in a nutshell, and Bitcoin in a nutshell. Just taking a look at some charts here and what they're telling me, everything looks good, guys. Bitcoin getting a little bit of buying here on a Monday, which is, like I said, this is very positive, and the market is just a little bit boring. So that's because it's taking a breather. So not much. I don't think much will happen between now and Wednesday. If anything happens, we may have some type of bullish momentum temporarily on Tuesday, which is tomorrow. But we'll just have to wait and see for that. Thank you for watching, friends. Please click the subscribe button if you have not subscribed, and please click like. I appreciate your time and attention, your viewership, and I wish you the best in the markets. We will see you next time.